The Loco Syndicate showed us how the big fish in the coke business at this time frame moved. Like a lot of drug organizations, gangs fell behind their business as well, whether that meant you betrayed your friends to be involved or you're just on the streets with it, not knowing where it came from, all for the money that came with this San Fierro pipeline. As we know, it was Torino, Jizzy, and T-Bones who was the ones who played their part in Los Santos' rise with cocaine. T-Bone being a member of the San Fierro Reefer, he started to try and do deals with the Vargos.
We looking for, Smoke?
Some Vargas cats meeting some San Fierro Reefer, cutting some kind of deal.
San Fierro? I thought northern Mexicans don't mix with Los Santos SAs.
Shit, you got me.
That look like them.
So by this time, we see their thing going on, at least on the Vargo side of Dylan. One of the members who thrived in it was Big Papa, the same guy that ended up with Mad Dog's mansion from the Loco Syndicate's cocaine. But before we saw their thing actually be a thing, the head of the operation, Mike, tells T-Bone to basically step up his role to make what we saw even happen. As we know, Torino is a rogue agent of some sort, but it might be a possibility T-Bone knew this, something you will see. The two relationship at this time was almost like Tenpenny and Smoke, or like how CJ and Torino's relationship would later be, just in a different city with a new set of people. Torino was on the phone with someone related to his job, but this conversation Torino lied about it so he can have T-Bone hurry up and get deals going so we can get in and get out as quick as possible. You can tell this by the phone call alone. Torino telling T-Bone to get on it is again why deals between the Vargos and Ballas even happen.
So what do we do now, Holmes?
I think I got us a buyer down in Los Santos. Up to 100Ks a month, low risk. Hello. Yes, you read it correctly. It's vital that it goes ahead. History will understand. No, you can't play with shit and not get dirty. Everybody knows that. Even you. Okay? Now look, I gotta go. Mendez! We gotta step up production. We're not thinking big enough here, okay? My connections in Panama can get us all the product we need, untouched. But you gotta arrange the market. So why don't you stop dancing with your boyfriend here and get on it, all right? Huh?
We're a lot for a fucking dead body.
T-Bone and Torino knew they would need a mediator to smooth problems that can happen with their deals, leading them into getting Jizzy on board. I get into Jizzy later, but for now, they use his club as a front, along with them using him for his face. But with him being a pimp with the club, it helped the syndicate. They offered him 20% for his work, which is telling for something. But now with their product flooding at less at this point, turf wars will happen. The ones that mattered, of course, was that the Ballers took over Grove Street and the Vargos took over El Corona. Caesar would later hear a rumor about the weight Tenpenny and Smoke was getting and where they was getting it from, which was San Fierro. So when they get there, it would take them a while to settle in, but Caesar would get a lead on the syndicate. Ryder would be sent off to meet with the three to set up a deal. Here's when CJ and Caesar start to pit faces on who is who, along with us hearing how they perceive this organization.
Rod, you shermhead!
This business is bigger than any gang, is it?
This guy take himself real serious.
That's T-Bone Mendez.
What now? Is that it?
Hey, who's the gringo?
I don't like the look of that guy. This more than a few thugs pushing product.
How many of these clowns are there?
I know a pimp when I see one. They being clever about this. It ain't no exchange of nothing incriminating.
This meeting made the two think they were organized and smart, but really one of them was this.
Hey man, you get them flicks developed? What's up, Woozy?
Hey, Carl. I was just explaining to your brother-in-law that we were friends.
Oh yeah? Well look, Woozy, I need to get some info from you, man.
What exactly do you boys want to know?
Who are these putas, Holmes?
These guys? They're the Loco Syndicate. They're pretty big time, I think. Now this guy runs things. I don't know his name.
The triads easily knew Jizzy and T-Bone, but Torino wouldn't be ID'd for some time, showing how low-key Torino was in his role. Saying that to say, if anything was to go wrong, Jizzy and T-Bone would be the fall guys. He messed up, too, during taking them down, but he was at least smart in covering his tracks for sure.
This guy is T-Bone Mendez. He's the muscle.
Guppy looked at T-Bone as the muscle, which he was, but as we saw earlier, it was a little deeper than that. He's the one who takes the Loco Syndicate the most serious, even beats someone to death due to his paranoia about being told on. Something to add before I go further, the Loco Syndicate has power due to all the gangs involved. The only thing they really worried about though was the law side of things, which is telling. which is why they even do meetings like they do, or kill someone they expect of it.
And who's that guy?
That's Jizzy B. He's the biggest pimp in town. He helps set up the deals. You know, concierge of sorts.
And lastly, Jizzy. Like Uppy said, he's the biggest pimp in the city, but before we even see him, we see the things he tried to do to promote his lane outside of the Loco Syndicate.
Hey, hello, Lonely Hearts. I was just calling up there because I was listening and I figured out, that I could help out some of y'all clients, This is none other than Jizzy, the proprietor of the Pleasure Domes Club. If anybody is out there lonely, people who got low self-esteem and they need to pick me up, they need to come down to the Pleasure Dome, hang out with me, Jizzy, and my girls, you know what I'm saying? They gonna keep you company, have you feeling good. And this goes for everybody. I don't care who you are, how old you are. So come on down and hang out with me if you're lonely. And I'm gonna tell you something. You won't be lonely from the moment you walk in the door, because somebody's gonna grab your hand and it's gonna be all about to get there from that.
Good grief, that's not the way Lonely Hearts works at all.
And of course, he was the weakest link.
Hey, did he my way in? How I get to him?
Oh, Jizzy? Jizzy runs the Pleasure Domes Club in that old fortress under the Gant Bridge.
Hey, good looking out, Woozy.
As soon as he's introduced, we see how he tries to reel in with claiming what he has. But when he noticed CJ, he said something telling outside of the syndicate and the radio self-promo.
When I walk down the stairs, I'm walking down on the mink carpet. Now who's this trick? I don't need no more friends, baby. All they try to do is peel me from my hoe.
Nah.
He was iffy about CJ, not because he thinks he's going to rob him or because he think he was the police. It was simply because the people he befriended down the line showing outside of what he did or what he acted like he was, it wasn't really working for him, which is why he even seemed to try to recruit up. CJ picks up on this, leading him to stroke his ego, acting like he was trying to get with the quote legend unquote Jizzy B. This made sense for Jizzy because of the call I feel he made on WCTR. He finds out CJ's unfamiliar with the city, so he continues to act bigger than what he is.
See, I'm new in town. Anything you want, I can do. For a guy like me to work for a guy like Jizzy B?
Well, now that you mention it, I do have a slight problem. Something a little dumb muscle like yourself might be able to fix. Cause you see me, I'm intellectual. Bitches. See, I only got 2 eyes, and in these streets, you got to have more than that. You got to be like a flying shit, Now, some lunatic been fucking with my bitches. Motherfucker killed 2 last week.
He again has CJ help him solve his problem that he's been struggling with. Without CJ, Jizzy would have just been more of a joke. Jizzy's not who he claims to be. He doesn't have influence, he's broke, but even with him showing this, he still plays the role throughout. Also notice he has CJ do different things throughout his first job, being that he's using CJ because he wouldn't dare to do it himself.
I want you to go find out. Wait up! See that pretty young thing in my car? Drop her off at the hotel downtown. And watch the rims, player.
Hey, Jizzy, it's Carl. I just dropped off your girl.
Church, got a little errand for you to run before you deal with that problem I was just talking about. Some young buck thinks he's a player, been trying to peel my hoes over in Hashberry. I want you to get your ass over there and ice that pretender.
It's CJ. Just to let you know, you don't have to worry about no competition in Hashberry.
Worried? Did I say I was worried? No, I did not. Now to the real deal. Some of my girls in the Foster Valley been getting knuckled over. I want you to get your ass up there and nose around. Find out what's going on. Use a bad luck charm, flunky. That girl you dropped off downtown wants out of the game. You get your ass back to the hotel and you make an example out of all of them.
Now with CJ being under Jizzy, it would obviously have him get leadway into the syndicate. The next time CJ shows up to the Pleasure Dome, he meets T-Bone face to face. But with this, we see more of how serious T-Bone takes this thing, along with more of how Jizzy is a clown. The proclaimed organized organization is starting not to see eye to eye. Jizzy started to see why Torino and T-Bone came to him. But even Jizzy coming to the reality of this showed more of how low rank he actually is. But again, with CJ being the new guy around, he puts his persona on.
Now just listen to me, okay? Now it's very important that you listen to me. I ain't no amigo. What you think? What you and Mike think? I'm just a pretty face to y'all? Is that y'all game? Now this here is the dumb muscle that I was talking about. Carl T-Bone, and in reverse.
Sup?
Órale.
Right here, T-Bone didn't acknowledge CJ after Jizzy introduced the two for the fact alone he didn't respect Jizzy. T-Bone assumed if CJ was under Jizzy, helping him out with his felon club business, he was just another clown just like him. Whatever T-Bone went through during the Loco Syndicate, of course, made him a paranoid person, along with him not being afraid to show his position in the syndicate. They would get into it about Jizzy's percentage, being that Jizzy brung it up to when T-Bone is seen to make things clear to Jizzy, but he tries to play it cool again with CJ being there, but something very telling is said.
Don't mind him, we go way back.
Hey, Holmes, don't be such a beachy liability.
Liability? Liability for what? Now there's 3 of us and I'm getting 20%. What type of math is that? That's fool's math, player. You and me. I sell my soul to you guys. And that's what it's gonna come down to, huh? Screwing me out of my 13%?
You knew the deal. You agreed. Besides, we could have said 5%.
T-Bone saying that him and Torino just could have gave him 5% means a lot. Firstly, of course, that means he would have took it, but the other side of him saying this shows that he's aware of Jizzy's fake persona. Jizzy tries to challenge T-Bone, but again, CJ is there. But in reality, he was digging himself a hole. Luckily for him, a shipment was being ambushed, leading T-Bone to put this encounter on pause, with Jizzy still playing as someone he wasn't. Also, notice when he learns what's going on, he makes up an excuse not to lead a club, showing more of how one, he didn't deserve an extra 13%, along with showing how he never got his hands dirty, even with his own operation.
And what? Cat got your tongue? You as bad at talking as you is at mathematics?
Hey, you want to make this shit personal, SA? Hello? Yeah. What? Man. Damn. Hey, man, I gotta bounce.
Oh, no, you don't. I invented that trick, baby. Carl, come with me. We gonna have to bust us a couple of melons up in here. What do you mean the shipments have been ambushed? We can't just go out there, T-Bone. It could be a DEA trap.
CJ gets the product back, but T-Bone is more paranoid at this point, while we see Jizzy to be the laid back one. He was trying to contact Torino, showing more of how low-key he is, but he doesn't get to him until he got into trouble, which is telling.
Hey, man, come on, hurry up.
Apúrate.
About time, T-Bone. Who the fuck is this?
Torino, of course, was iffy about CJ, but T-Bone tells him he's Jizzy's man, leading him to overlook CJ's real angle. Torino would then say something regarding the van with the product in it, causing us to see more of how T-Bone took everything with the syndicate more seriously than everybody else, along with us seeing how far Torino was willing to go in this.
Hey, that's one of Jizzy's clowns. Relax, Güero.
You hear that? We gotta torch this van with the coke in it.
Hey, Charlie, Güero, we ain't torching nada.
This is a setback, but doing 20 to life is a little more than that. Comprende, amigo?
As we see, T-Bone was the one who was really against this, but Torino uses his authority to make sure he doesn't get ahead of himself. Torino doing this, though, is a mistake for the fact alone CJ could put a name to his face. And another thing I caught on to of how Torino made a mistake was the fact that he was the last to know about CJ, showing more of how somewhat he only uses T-Bone and Jizzy for his end goal. The only thing he feared behind this overall was getting arrested, like I said prior.
Hey, he right, man. Let's do it and get the hell out of
Hey,
here.
who the fuck asked you, payaso? This ain't a committee.
Exactly.
I call the shots here.
Now shut up and let's go.
T-Bone and Torino would then have Jizzy set up CJ for a test of heart. Torino and T-Bone assumed CJ was a cop, being that they didn't of course expect someone to do what CJ did later, but they asked the wrong questions. CJ technically didn't have anything to lie about, but this test they did on CJ made them figure that that was enough. They even slipped up, now revealing their warehouse.
Hey, you a pinchy hooter or what? What the hell? You think you can mess with me? I will blow your head off. You think you can fucking bullshit me and fuck me over? I know your fucking game, that's it.
I don't know what you talking about, man. Ah, my throat.
Who you working for?
Nobody.
Man, I'm just trying to make some money. Keep my mouth shut, I swear, man. I almost had you, man. I almost fucking had you. Watch out. You gotta be careful in this business, man. You know that.
Are you boys done playing around?
Yeah, we're straight, Vato.
Oh, good. That's great. Now, we gotta go meet this shipment. We're late as it is. Let's go.
You heard what Jefe said.
Get out and grab a bike. The shipment has to get to the factory. We're watching you, kid.
Okay, we made it. But the cops gonna be all over the spot real soon. Get the van out of sight. I'ma get out of here.
The time CJ was involved with the Loco Syndicate, he learned it wasn't what he thought they were. He also really didn't have to see anything else. He knew the people to take care of, leading him to get Jizzy first. Before Jizzy's death, we see more of how things really was. After the shipment came, he uses it like in a way to show power he thought he had. But one of his brings him back down to reality with his role. Jizzy bringing CJ in was basically for his chicken operation outside of the syndicate, and as far as his role in it, he didn't even see nothing in it for him down the line. In a way, Jizzy just wanted to be down with the syndicate because he seen the opportunity, similar to how Big Smoke did. He even lets his persona go after he realized CJ wanted to do more than just talk. Something else to add, everyone in the club did nothing until Jizzy said anything, which is to say the least, very telling.
Give me some room, bitch! It's that time of the week again. Your provider's about to make that special call. If I think for a moment that one of you hoes is hustling me...
You better make a bigger cut this week, Jiz. We're running low, honey.
Shut up, bitch. I'm handling business.
Don't you even raise your voice at me,
No,
asshole!
shut up, bitch! You funky ass.
Hey, Jizzy, I need to holler at you.
Well, talk then, friend. I mean, that's all we ever do. Kind word here, wise saying there. Shit, I'm a walking book of proverbs.
No, you fucked up.
Come on, man. Hey, I get it wrong, you know? I'm imperfect, you know, like, hey, not a kind man, not a wise man, you know, not a smart man, but dear Lord, I tried.
No, you fucked up when you trusted me, player.
Come on, baby.
Ass selling. Yay pushing. Piece of shit trash.
Oh, Lord.
If Jizzy for you couldn't be more of a joke, while CJ is chasing him, he says this.
Hey, I thought we was friends.
He really failed for CJ plot against him and the syndicate. The time he spent showing CJ off like one of his just because he helped do something he wouldn't do shouldn't have been enough. T-Bone was slightly aware, but Jizzy failed into thinking that, which is why he was the first one to go.
Hey, Caesar.
Hey, dude, what's up?
I need you to meet me at Pier 69. We gonna take down the Loco Syndicate.
Okay, Holmes, you need some backup?
Nah, man, I got it covered. Hey, man.
Nice job getting that phone message. What's up with Jizzy?
Dead. So what's the plan?
Even after Jizzy's death, business still continued. They're seen at this time to do a deal with the Ballers. So when T-Bone and of course Ryder was seen, showing how Ryder's role was doing a lot of groundwork. He wasn't put up like Big Smoke was. Torino was seen too, but he realized it was an ambush. Things like this shows how smart Torino can be. He may have not had street smarts, but things like showing up in a helicopter or how he pitched trackers on product he destroyed always kept him a step ahead of everyone. Now with Torino being the only one left, he was presumed to be dead after CJ takes down the helicopter he thought he used frequently, along with destroying the same warehouse he helped move product to. As we know, Torino didn't die. He probably wasn't even in the helicopter to begin with, but with CJ taking out the Loco Syndicate, it gave him a way out. When he came face to face with Torino, he lets it be known who he looked at Torino to be before he knew his motive with the Syndicate. CJ earlier talked about the power he perceived they had, just to chalking it up to something simple.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, what the fuck, man? Hey, Torino, I told you my bad, man. What the hell can I say? I screwed you over.
Calm down, kid.
Just go ahead and kill me then.
Calm down.
Man, you ain't nothing but a fucking yayo dealer anyway, Torino.
Shut up and sit down. What, you think I'm a drug dealer? And you think you're a crusader for good? Do you have any idea what's going on? Any idea whatsoever? Do you? Do you?
Nah, I pay as little attention to things as possible.
Do not be a fucking smartass with me. I work for a government agency. It is not important which one. I will try not to confuse you. Yes, when we last met, I was involved in battling threats in Latin America by any means necessary. That does not make me a drug dealer.
But after Torino's and CJ's relationship, outside of CJ knowing Torino isn't a drug dealer, I'll leave it for another time. At the end of the day, the Loco Syndicate was just the ones who had a lot of cocaine at the time Los Santos went to, thanks to Torino. He wouldn't know where to sell it, leading him to go to T-Bone. Earlier I spoke on him knowing Torino was an agent of some sort for many reasons. The helicopters, or the signal from the drug cargo, along with when he tried to get CJ to break, could have been told by Torino to do. Either that or he was just dumb. I really feel that their relationship was like Tenpenny and Smoke. Torino didn't have a problem telling CJ everything after everything, which is why somewhere before Torino might have did the same speech to T-Bone, along with him getting the same percentage as him. His paranoia also was telling as well. And as for Jizzy, he just saw an opportunity after pimping started to decline for him, but even that couldn't help him. The three was looked at to be stronger than what they actually was, but once we actually seen how they operated, nothing was different from what you would think. None of the three really had what it took, leading them to think their own way, while being the ones Los Santos relied on for a while, causing their operation to be overestimated.